Testing. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Temple of Clarity. Please take a minute to center, sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, or whatever's comfortable for you. Let's just do a few deep breaths to let go of the day. I encourage you to feel the presence of God within you, in your heart, and the radiation of light cascading through you in this holy place. I would like to set an intention for our meditation tonight without using too many words. I am grateful for the freedoms that we have, the freedom that we have right now to be able to choose to pursue our source, our oneness, to be in the silence, and to accept the great light that descends in this place. Not all have these freedoms. Currently, there is a challenge to freedom in Taiwan. And I am prompted to dedicate this particular meditation or set an intention for freedom. The freedom of the people of Taiwan against the oppression of their neighbors. We have to see that if the United States fails to champion freedom in places like Taiwan, where their anthem actually talks about oneness, if you can imagine, their national anthem. And freedom and brotherhood for all. Where do you think the aggressors will turn next? In any case, as very grateful individuals living in a free country and all the many opportunities that we have, I choose to use my freedom to support Taiwan, to support freedom in the United States of America, that we always have these rights. that our children and our grandchildren have these rights to speak and to be and to choose their own path and to become self-realized. If anyone else would like to set an intention for the meditation tonight, this will be a good time. Okay, then we will sit in silence for a while and let your heart be your guide and how this expression of freedom works through you. Thank you.
Coming back. We're going to work with the energy of Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy. Kuan Yin means the one who can hear the prayers of mankind. Kuan Yin is a goddess of mercy, and very popular in China, as she had released the antidote to every problem through these mantras and through these understandings of energy that are contained in the mantra. And one of them being the violet flame, which is forgiveness, radical forgiveness, divine mercy, letting go. And so let's just take this moment to visualize Kuan Yin in the middle of the room. And we call to you, Goddess of Mercy, beloved Kuan Yin, and to all the angels and masters who work with you in the heaven worlds, who work on this energy of mercy, the one who answers and hears all prayers, the one who has the antidote. And in your own inner sight, you can communicate with her. There are beautiful images of her flying on a dragon, flying on a turtle, holding a willow branch. And there is the opportunity to just let go of anything that is not serving you right now, anything that is holding you back, anything you choose to release into this living flame of forgiveness and radical mercy. Seeing things from the vantage point of a goddess, seeing things from the vantage point of your eternal self, beyond your comprehension, your eternal self. We don't need to carry anything moving forward. We don't need to hold on to anything that will cause you pain, emotional, mental. It all can be burned away. It all can be transmuted, restored back to its original light frequency, neutralized. In a way, we are all dying, burning our egos up in the flame of radical forgiveness. And we just let everything burn away and dissolve. Give it all to God. Give it all to the goddess. Give it all to the light. And then within your higher self, find that neutral place, the place of centeredness and knowing everything's going to be okay. Everything is as it should be. That neutral state, that place where you're not pulled by the past. You're not manipulated by thoughts of the future. You're in your center. You're in your Buddhic self. And you're just sitting in the flame, the eternal flame of God reality. At peace, at home. And when you're ready, come back. I'd like to share some stories I have with my connection with Kuan Yin. It was back in 1987, 86, through a messenger of the Great White Brotherhood. Kuan Yin came to release these antidotes, as she called them, through Elizabeth Clare Prophet. And I happened to be there. And I got to sit in the front row. I never knew anything about Kuan Yin at all. And so I was just kind of observing, wanting to find out what was this about. But apparently in China, the Divine Mother of the East, billions and billions and billions of people pray to Kuan Yin, like we do to Mother Mary or Kali or Lakshmi or Durga here more in the West. But in the East, in China, there was this Bodhisattva. She was an actual historical person who was a princess, and it's documented. She was a princess in China, and the legend is that when she was going into nirvana and she was leaving this realm, is that she could hear the prayers of mankind. And so she stopped right before she entered into the bliss and turned around and decided that she would stay and just help people answer their prayers. Anyways, I was in the front row, and Mother, as I called her, was maybe like the distance between me and Lori, who's wearing like a goddess, beautiful goddess dress, just one of the most beautiful princess like Kuan Yin outfits, goddess outfits. Anyways, I was this close, and the radiation, the energy that was coming through was so powerful and so peaceful and powerful. And Mother was just moving very slowly. And when people are in that energy, they move, their bodies move differently. Their hands, everything seems to slow down. They're in another state, in like maybe two states. Maybe they're here physically, maybe they're in this heaven world at the same time, and they're just there's this divine connection. And this overshining light upon her was from Kuan Yin, and she was speaking these mantras. And the power and the beauty of it was just coming to me. And then the thunder and the lightning came down. And the building that we were in was a metal building. It was like they turned it into a church, but it was actually a barn made of metal. And whenever the lightning would hit, it would just rattle through the building. And in Montana, they would have these huge thunderstorms, almost terrifying. And Mother said in the most softest voice, "In the name of Kuan Yin, peace be still." And I was watching, and within 5 seconds, silence. No rain, no thunder, no lightning. And I knew at that moment that she had the ability to control weather, Kuan Yin. She had the ability to silence the storm, just as Jesus did. And it was this, no big fanfare, nothing, just in the name of Kuan Yin, peace be still. And instantaneously, within 5 seconds, and she continued on. And so as I was sitting there, these waves and waves and waves of energy were just coming from the altar to the front row where I was sitting. And I knew that the very cells and atoms of this body was like being changed, like the very DNA, as they say. I was being changed. I was being accelerated. I was going to be a new vibration. And I was like holding onto my seat like I was on a roller coaster ride, because, you know, other people were like feeling it too, and you had to hold on to be in the front row in one of those meetings. You had to be either on staff, which I was for a couple years, and then the other one was to be able to stand in the fire. And the ushers were always looking for people who wanted to stand in the fire. And I was always saying, put me there. Put me there. I want to go in the fire. And then after that, you know, like after that experience, Kuan Yin became like someone I knew. I had this personal relationship with her. I experienced her energy. She obviously like did something to me. And I started to want to know a little bit about her. And then inwardly in my meditations, I would commune with her and things like that. And then years later, it kind of manifested again when I found the Kuan Yin temple off the 395 freeway. And the abbot there gave me this golden Kuan Yin statue that's up there on that archway. And I knew that was a gift from her. I told the master, I says, I can't pay for that. I can't. It's the most beautiful Kuan Yin statue I've ever seen. I've never seen anything that's even close to that. And he says, I want you to have it. It came from his personal room. And when I brought it back to the meditation group, everybody said, what's that? You know, that is like, I said, well, it was a gift from the master at the Kuan Yin temple. And they said, we want to go. And I says, I got his phone number. Let me call him up. We'll make a visitation over there. And we all went. This was several years ago, Lisa. And he was so gracious, wasn't he? He was so sweet to us. We had lunch with all the monastics. We went to his personal quarters, and he did a special, I think it was called a long life blessing, which they in the Vietnamese culture is very important. And then we got to have all of our ancestors put into this blessing that he did. He was like the head abbot, a little guy, but he had a big hat. He had this big hat, and he was just as sweet as can be. Anyways, I felt Kuan Yin tonight, and when I looked up at her and I saw her hand going like this as a blessing, and she's holding a pearl, I knew that I had to do something, some sort of guided meditation with her. And Lisa, you brought her up as part of your opening prayer for Taiwan, and she's the protector of Taiwan, yes. There's some beautiful artwork of her riding this dragon. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that, Madeline? It's some of the most interesting artwork because she's appeared to other people. Like from what I heard is somebody was looking out an airplane window and they saw her flying over the water, over, I guess, the China Sea, and she was riding this dragon. in China, the dragon represents, it's kind of a magical being. It represents the power and brotherhood. And it's a way she answers prayer. So this is like this little Chinese lady riding this big dragon. It's just kind of a funny visual, but and she's just standing there holding her willow branch, and I think it's a image that you can see online that is directly as the person saw it. So, of course, she teaches radical forgiveness, divine mercy, mostly because anything we carry that, from the past kind of interferes with our divine future. And we're having a new future. There's something that was a possibility or impossibility. But now the impossibility is a possibility of this beautiful future that wasn't scripted before because of all the spiritual work that has been done in the last 100 years. There's a new future possibility that was no one could, even in the heaven worlds, think was possible. That is now here, available to us. And we can tap into that, and we can recreate our own future. We don't have to be held back in any way. Just let go, surrender, and float up. I want to say a special prayer for Lori Grant, who's home not feeling well. She says hello to everybody also. And Christy, she's not feeling well. So we're sending you love and light over to you. Hope you feel better. And to Christy, I just want to say we have 2 fans going. It's not too hot in here today. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Lisa?
Testing. Well, these beings like Kuan Yin, Shiva, all the divine mothers from India, they've been around for such a long time, and so many people have played to them that they have these gigantic causal bodies. This is real light, real power, if you want to call it that. And I feel like when you have access to that, you have a responsibility to, first of all, qualify it with love and the purity, the greatest purity you can muster. But that's why I set the intention about Kuan Yin, about Taiwan, I wanted to invest that energy, because you could feel it. I could barely speak, actually. And invest that energy in the island nation of Taiwan, where these beautiful people, they have temples everywhere. I have not been there personally. I've seen pictures, and, real purity, and, that they are a democratic nation, and they desire freedom, and, it's just, I wanted to invest that energy in there, and that, to be responsible with that energy. It's just, to me, it's not enough to be high. It's great to be high, but what is the purpose? The purpose is to use it for righteous use, is my opinion. And but each person has to decide what they're going to do with the energy and the light that they anchor.
So yeah, I'll just share that, I was so present to this field of love and field of joy and field of passion. And, I think that, it certainly serves to be in that high vibration, because as we're in that high vibration, it's naturally lifting the entire field. And over the last couple days, yesterday and a couple times today, I became aware of all of the beings from the entire creation, like all of the galaxies and all of, that are so excited for if they experience excitement, right? But just watching with their popcorn on what's happening on this planet. So we're aware of what looks like destruction, or what looks like separation, and what looks like, going through the birth canal as we're birthing the golden age. And just to shift into that higher perception of all the beings that are just so thrilled for what's happening here on our teeny tiny planet, So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it feels complete. Let's just close this as we, drink in this light and this love, and we accept it, we bring it in, we attract it, we magnetize it to ourselves, we create our own golden thread of contact to the source, to the one, to all that is good and holy and pure and beautiful. And through just doing that, getting closer to God, getting closer to the light, we are accelerating this planet. We are raising this vibration of this planet. We are creating a new heaven and a new earth, consciously, willingly, with joy, with happiness, with our angels, with our masters, with our guides. And this is the way of joy. This is the way of the violet flame. This is the way of freedom. And the more freedom that we bring within ourselves, the more freedom will exist on earth. And we take that freedom, that violet light, that violet flame, and we move it through every part of our lives. And we share that joy with all mankind. Thank you so much, everyone on the broadcast. Thank you for joining us. All those who are here in the physical, all those online, all those who are here in their light bodies. And we send you all the violet flame, all the joy, all the peace, and all the love from our hearts to yours. God bless you one and all. Good night.